that an all-new sandbox experience is coming at launch. I am happy to announce DMZ. Call of Duty's Extraction mode will arrive with Warzone 2.0 at launch later this year.
If you've spent any time around the Tarkov community, you'll be familiar with SoonTM, and that's because it's the most common response from BSG when asked about the release date of a feature or piece of content. While originally a meme in the community, in recent years it's filed into a reminder of missed deadlines and a lack of transparency. Without a roadmap, Tarkov's community has no guide to level set expectations, and as a result, has instead latched itself onto the mirage in the desert, streets of Tarkov. I don't believe DMZ, Marauders, or any other extraction FPS right now will kill Tarkov, but what I do believe is that stagnation, scope creep, and the community's lack of faith that BSG will take Tarkov to the finish line that they've described will be what brings Tarkov down. Tarkov set the standard for extraction-based shooters. Out of the gates, Tarkov brought with it a challenging and frustrating FPS experience that hadn't been done with the same attention to detail that Tarkov had. Deep weapon customization, an intricate ballistic system, and punishing PvP allowed Tarkov to define the genre. Though in recent years the development pace has slowed from large patches every 2 to 3 months to one major patch every 6 months, to where we are now, with arguably the least amount of content which was added as a part of 12.12.3. The most relevant example that I can think of is the addition of the in-raid trader, who was originally planned to be implemented at the halfway mark of the 12.12 wipe. We are 4 months into the 12.12.3 wipe with no trader in sight. That's 7 months overdue for an in-raid NPC. Now this trader is far from the first thing relegated to the SoonTM bucket. Features, bug fixes, game optimization, task reworks, and new maps have all had the same treatment. And oftentimes when an item does come out of the SoonTM bucket, it isn't as the community was led to believe it would be. Lighthouse, as an example, was the first new map added to Tarkov in over 2 years, and the hype surrounding it was pretty significant. Though on release, and still to this day, players with PC specs from low to high still have significant performance issues. What indicators does the community have that Streets of Tarkov, the largest map ever added to the game, will be any different? Other items in the SoonTM bucket that are souring the community are performance issues, netcode issues, cheaters, and long-standing bugs. From low frame rate, micro stutters, crashes, and blue screens, the only consistency with Tarkov's performance over the years is that it's guaranteed to be a headache for the player. It is a bit of a joke, but it should say something about how Tarkov plays, that the top recommendation from the community is to buy 32 gigabytes of RAM. Much like cheese with wine, desync pairs well with performance issues in Tarkov. Almost every player has found themselves saying, "Servers feel good today," as there's no consistency in server performance, and it varies day to day. You'll often find yourself dying around corners or be left questioning how none of your shots registered. It is frustrating to see performance and netcode dropped into the SoonTM bucket, as these should be priorities for any FPS game. Cheaters aren't unique to Tarkov, especially across the gaming landscape. Cheating is on the rise, and as I'm not an anti-cheat developer, I'm not going to speak on whether what BSG is doing to stop them is enough. I just don't have that experience or those credentials. What I will speak on are small additions to the game that help reassure players that something, if anything, is being done. My suggestion is to give players a notification when another player that they reported was banned. This small affirmation helps placate users who scream that no one is banned and that the reporting system is useless. Or it's going to show that because you never get a notification, it really does confirm that the reporting system is useless. Either way, it gives players some feedback and helps them feel heard, like something is actually being done. As a long-term player, this one kind of resonates with me the most. And so it's not going to be relevant to all players, as I believe that the longer you've been playing the game, the more of these you'll notice. For instance, you have AI double damage, the inability to shoot out lights on shoreline, lighting issues across many maps, audio issues in many maps, many areas, black thorax and head bug, player models catching on smaller objects, the air filter bug, the glowing sunglasses, the list just goes on. The frustration with these bugs is just exacerbated for long-term players because people like myself have been submitting bug reports after bug reports on these issues and just receiving radio silence in response from BSG. It is hard for some players to get excited for new content when foundational issues are not remedied. As these issues are left unattended to, and other features are built upon the rotten foundations, the cracks begin to show themselves in other areas. There's a few good examples of this, but one that comes to mind quickly is Steam Audio. So the base audio engine in Tarkov was developed in-house by BSG. So to bolster their audio engine, BSG implemented portions of Steam Audio into their engine. This led to bugs and confusion as to what the underlying cause of the bugs was. Now BSG has announced that Steam Audio is going to be removed, and they're going to be working in-house to try and fix their audio engine. But it's important to note that Steam Audio is an industry leader and can be heard running at its full potential within Hunt Showdown as an example of how to design video game audio. An additional example relates to the AI in Tarkov. The underlying AI is simplistic, yet has unrealistic accuracy and movement. With the 12.12.3 patch, rogue bosses were added to Tarkov and are the most extreme versions of all of the issues with AI. The rogues sprint through doors, power slide through objects, open fire on players from sniper scav distances, and one-tap the player in most engagements due to double damage and unreasonable accuracy. These are underlying bugs with AI that the player is expected to just understand and play around, and it's really, I feel, unreasonable to ask new players, experienced players, to tailor their gameplay to accommodate these bugs. What ties all of these issues is that they've been labeled as to be fixed soon. But I believe that for the vast majority of the players in the community, they're done waiting for soon. Tarkov is overdue for a dedicated freeze on new content and a period of full developmental focus on fixing the foundations of Tarkov. Bring Tarkov performance consistency up, revitalize the AI and how they interact with the world, and fix the bugs that have long sat on the back burner. Without this polish, I don't see a world where Tarkov remains competitive with the increasing crowd of extraction FPS. No matter how much a company once innovated, competition is going to catch up without consistent efforts to push the product forward, and I think that Tarkov's just sat complacent for too long with being number one. And I'd be remiss not to mention the escalating war in Russia and its looming economic collapse. And I really only believe this is going to increase the struggles that the studio is facing and stifle communication with the community even more. But my concerns with Tarkov predate their current situation. My speculation is that the game we're playing today is the game we will be playing whenever BSG decides to slap the 1.0 release label onto the game, but I am more than open to being proved wrong. I really do love the team at BSG, and I love the product that they've made. But Tarkov is quickly losing its competitive edge and is no longer the only FPS that does extraction shooting well. I feel that I can really summarize everything I've said today into some final words. Tarkov will always be a great game, but whether it is remembered as great, or if Tarkov continues to define great, is still to be determined.